Welcome back to the Dish and Swish podcast. I'm Amadeus Peterson here with Trevor Trost and more big news.
Made it to episode 10. That's pretty
We're-
inspirational.
We're in the double digits.
we're getting somewhere. Yeah, man, it just sucks that all this stuff happened right after we filmed last week, or else we would have been able to put it in last week's episode.
Yeah, we have a curse, so any big news always happens moments after we record. Just like the James Harden trade, I guess, happened right after we recorded.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking crap on James Harden last week, and well, at least I was, about how big of a baby he was being. So the inevitable happened, and he was traded. We'll kind of break it down for a little bit here, as it was. I mean, it was the number one story on the sports platforms for a little bit. Basically, James Harden forced his way out of Philadelphia. But he brought along some people.
Yeah. So to break down the trade for you, the Clippers received James Harden. He took along PJ Tucker and Philip Petrusev
From the Thunder.
And then they did, from the Sixers, they got Marcus Morris. They got Robert Covington, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, 2028 unprotected first from the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
They got 2 second-rounders from the Clippers, a 2029 pick swap with the Clippers, and they got a 2026 first round from OKC, who acted as kind of a third team, and the Oklahoma City Thunder received a 2027 pick swap with the Clippers. So a lot to digest there, but what are your initial reactions and thoughts for each of the teams that participated in the trade?
Yeah. So I initially thought, I mean, it depends on where you view James Harden, what type of player you view him as. For me, I was reading a lot of the comments, and they were all about how the Clippers fleeced, the 76ers.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I don't think so. Like, if I'm looking at this trade as a whole, a guy who kind of put himself like he's not going to play unless he's, gets traded to where he wanted to go. They were kind of held at, a standoff, and I think the Sixers actually came out on top for the better. And I think, obviously every party's happy, but like the Clippers getting James Harden and PJ Tucker are nice pieces. But for me, for a guy that James Harden, who's in the, down second half of his career, for the Sixers to flip that and get a couple first-round picks, unprotected too, first-round picks, because who knows where the Clippers will be at by 2028 with those guys having been the. And then you have, Robert Covington is a nice piece, Nick Batum's a nice piece, KJ Martin. I had actually, looked into the minutes-wise of this trade after it happened, and all those guys except for Marcus Morris and KJ Martin is not quite there, but Covington and Batum both played 20 or more minutes a game before the trade. So you're getting nice players and then a bunch of picks, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of value there for the Sixers. OKC kind of flew in there at the end as a third team because they have too many first-round picks.
Yeah.
And they can't pay them all due to the new CBA rules. So, I mean, we could get into that forever. There's a lot of logistics there, but basically they're trying to defer their pick later out. So that's kind of why they came in this trade, because they have too many good young players right now that they know they're going to have to pay by 2027. So, or by 2026, I mean. So they kind of deferred that for another year. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good trade for all parties. The Clippers, I don't know. For me, I just don't know how it's going to work out. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what Tyronn Lue does. So obviously they're starting Russell Westbrook, and I don't see a world in which you can play James Harden and Russell Westbrook together, because both are very ball dominant. Like, Russell Westbrook has been able to be successful on the Clippers because he's had the ball in his hand. And so I see Russell Westbrook going back to the bench where he was with the Lakers for a year.
And it caused some problems there.
And it did cause some problems. And so I guess I'm very interested to see how it goes. apparently Vegas liked the trade. The Clippers jumped all the way up to, they were tied for the number 3 team in the West to win it, behind the Nuggets and I believe the Warriors.
Did it affect the Sixers at all? Did you see?
I think the Sixers
Stayed about the
pretty
same.
even keel, because I think
Yeah.
at that point it was like James Harden is either going to be a cancer for the team,
Yeah.
or he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
And so they kind of just, I feel like, took James Harden out of the equation already.
Fair.
But yeah, Tyrese Maxey is amazing.
Nah, he's
He's
filled the
going to
role.
be most
Yeah.
improved player
Yeah.
for sure.
No, he. Wow, that's a bold
For
statement right
sure.
there. Jeez.
He's putting up 30 a game.
Wow.
He's
bold,
putting up 30 a
bold
game.
statement. We're
Like,
like 6 games
I'm
into
sorry,
season.
I'm going to overreact.
Wow.
He is going to win most improved player.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. If he does, but
Yeah.
no, I mean, I don't know if I agree with the Clippers moving up that high. I like James Harden, as a passer and a playmaker, but he's just too. I don't know. I just feel like he's on the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
And with him and Russell Westbrook, like you said, I'm just not sure how it'll work out.
Yeah.
PJ Tucker's a nice piece, kind of fills in for the other dudes that they lost, but I mean, I think the Sixers came out. They added more depth and more pieces and a bunch of picks while getting rid of this so-called cancer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were put in like a no-win situation. I feel like they made the best of it. So,
Yeah.
I may be in the silent majority of that, or the minority of that group who thinks that. But
Yeah.
I really think Sixers did a good job with the hand that they were dealt, for sure. And like you said, they have a young budding star in Tyrese Maxey, who has more than shown he's willing to fill the scoring and offensive void of James Harden. Maybe not quite the passer he is, but 30 points a game is no joke.
All right, I say we give him some letter grades. I think that's kind of nice. So Trevor, let's hear your letter grades for the Clippers, Sixers, and Thunder.
Well, see, at this point, we've only seen the Sixers have. We've seen one game with them with their new players, minus Nick Batum because he was hurt. Covington played well. Not like great. He only played 18 minutes, but I think overall, just based on we don't have a big sample size of anything, I'm gonna go Clippers. I'm going to say they just gave up like picks, unprotected, and pick swaps and second-round picks. I'm going to go B- for the Clippers. I think they improved their odds this year, but I think it puts them in a bad situation for years to come. Sixers, I think it's hard because it's hard to put Maxey in this as well because they now have a star who can fill his Harden's role. So for the Sixers, I'll do a B+.
Okay.
I think they came out better. And then the Thunder, obviously they're kind of, I don't have a grade for them because they're just kind of neutral party in there.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think for me, as much as James Harden is a cancer, and has had problems, if he's happy, I think he's proven that he's a great player, and so I feel like the Clippers come out with the best player in the deal for sure, obviously.
Right.
And so because of that, I'd probably give the Clippers an A- because Steve Ballmer really he's going all in on this team,
Yeah.
And their goal is to hopefully win a championship, and if that maybe pushes them in that direction, I mean that's good for them. I agree. I think the Sixers, I give them a B+, just because of the number of picks that they were able to get, and obviously they're able to move on from James Harden, which is kind of just a no-win situation.
Yeah.
And for me, I'd probably give the Thunder also around a B+, because they got a pick swap with the Clippers, who in 2027 will probably be terrible.
Yeah.
Based off the team that they currently have, they have aging stars who, I think they have 4 or 5 players who are good players on the last year of their contract this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see in 2027 that the Clippers might not be one of the.
Yeah, they did have to give up a first rounder for it, for sure.
Yeah.
But in 2026, OKC, that first rounder might be low first round because they might be really good by 2026.
They already look pretty good.
Yeah, so factor in a couple more years from Chet and Shea and they're young guys, and you never know what that 2026 first rounder might be in pick 30. You never know. So we'll see what happens there. There's a lot to unravel there. There's a lot to unpack. we could go into that trade for our whole segment, but I don't really want to get more into it because it's kind of older news because it happened right after. So let's kind of break down our recap of our last game of the week. What do we have?
Yeah, we had Bucks-Knicks. First, I think it was the first game of the in-season tournament. It came down to the wire. It was a fun game to watch. I mean, on the Bucks side, we saw Giannis and we saw Dame. When it really came down to it, we were able to see, the whole reason that the Bucks went to go get Dame is that they kind of needed a closer.
Yeah. It was interesting because the Bucks have kind of been shaky a little bit through the first couple starts.
Yeah.
So they needed a definite win, especially against the Knicks. But it kind of proved to me that when they're on, they're on. When the Bucks play well, they can beat anyone. But they need to figure some things out. Their defense is really bad right now. They're giving up way too many points. They gave up 130 the other night to Toronto. So they need to figure that out. That's just – but like you said, when it matters, they look really – like down the clutch. It's hard to stop Damian Lillard in the clutch, let alone if he's paired with Giannis. So they look good. And on the other side, you had one star.
Yeah, you had a singular star on the other side in Jalen Brunson. He put up 45 points on 30 shots, and it just didn't look like anyone else could have an impact. You got Julius Randle shooting
5 for 20.
shooting tour dates.
I need to see this. Where was my boy? Yeah, there he is. 25%. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
1 for 9 from 3.
5 for 20, 1 for 9 from 3. I mean, it's hard. It's honestly hard to watch just because Jalen Brunson has kind of like blossomed into this elite player, one of the top 5 point guards in the NBA. But it's just sad to see like there's not really too much support behind him.
No, that's crazy. So when we were looking at these, I said last week when we talked about this game, I said there's 2 players on the Knicks. They're both lefties that they never see a shot they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And they're forcers. They are.
Yeah.
And Julius Randle, I actually used to like Julius Randle a lot, but man, him and RJ Barrett, who didn't play.
Yeah.
But Julius Randle, man, he has had a rough start to the season. His tour dates, as everyone says, that's in reference to his shooting numbers, which is like 3 for 14 and then 4 for 16.
5 for 20 in this game.
5 for 20 in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a rough start for him. So I don't know if they're looking shaky. It sucks because, like we talked about, we're big fans of Brunson.
Yeah.
He's a legit. He'll be an all-star. He should be an all-star this year.
No, he will.
He was a fringe all-star last year, but this year he should be. I've always thought, like even last year, I thought he should have been. But my gosh, they got some stuff to figure out.
Yeah.
And Randall better start picking it up, or he's going to be on the chopping block. Because in New York, they don't put up with crap, man.
They don't. So I guess we'll see what happens with the Knicks. We'll see what happens with the Bucks. What do you think about maybe the up and down start for Dame in the games that they've won? He's averaged over 30, and then the games that they've lost, he's putting up in the teens.
Yeah, I mean it's hard for them because I still think they're trying to get a feel for each other, how to play with each other. So, if you look, him and Giannis are kind of reverting opposite of each other, right? If Dame has 35, Giannis has 15. They're kind of flip flopping.
Yeah.
And then if Giannis has 29, Dame has 12. So they've kind of been flip flopping back and forth. And so I think they're still trying to figure out the dynamic there.
Yeah.
I think they'll get it. It's hard because they're playing with new guys after not playing together. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I still think it has to work. I think the Bucks defense needs to improve a lot.
Yeah.
I was listening to some podcast about it, and the Bucks are second to last or in last place points per 100 possessions or something. So they need to pick it up, especially with they have 2 really good defensive players with Brook Lopez and Giannis. Mm-hmm. So like 2 really good rim protectors. So they need to pick it up defensively. Offensively, I think it'll work itself out when you have just solid dudes. So Bucks, they got an interesting by game 15 to 20 is where you kind of get a feel for where teams are going to be for the rest of the season, kind of like a trend.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not perfect, but you can kind of see where they're going to be at in the pack. And well, I guess we'll touch back in around there and see if they've made any improvements. But what do you think?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it is a little bit worrisome, but I think it's obviously too early to panic. It's too early to panic. We're only 6 games in or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see how the Bucks figure it out. We'll see if the Knicks can find a second option. It seems like it might be rough over there for a little bit, but yeah. I guess we have another game of the week coming up.
Yeah. Another in-season tournament game.
Yeah.
So we got the Clippers versus Mavericks this weekend. It'll be a good game. Luka and the Clippers, they go back. There's always been some little bad blood per se for them, but yeah, can the Mavs keep hanging? The Mavs look good. They have a good record. They're playing good basketball. I mean, they haven't played the best teams, but
yeah.
I mean, the Mavs look legit so far. It looks like they found a good piece in Derek Lively, and they got some Grant Williams. I mean, they just got they got a good little squad. So, but can they do it against one of the best teams in the NBA?
Yeah, it kind of seemed like last year when they kind of gave up some big pieces for Kyrie. It kind of looks like they've been able to find players to fill those roles. Like they lost Dorian Finney-Smith. And obviously, like Grant Williams has been able to come in, and you have Derek Lively is like they've obviously had problems at the center position, and so to get these big pieces that have been able to put up numbers, I think it makes a big difference for the Mavericks. Do you think that Derek Lively can sustain this, or do you think it's kind of like a rookie almost fluke where like teams don't really have a scouting report on him, they like don't really know how to play him? Or do you think we're gonna see continued success from these key role players on the
Yeah,
Mavericks?
I mean, Derek Lively's not gonna go out and wow you with his 30-point nights, but I think he fulfills his role. He knows it. He did the same thing in college. In college, he wasn't a prolific scorer.
Yeah.
But he rebounds well. He's a lob threat, and he defends well, and he's a rim protector. So I think he has the ability to do those things great every night. And if he keeps on his trend, I think he can sustain it. I don't think he'll ever surpass, 15, 20 points a game. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And I hope I am. But I think that's kind of his ceiling there. But that's not to say that he couldn't, become one of the best, lob threats or rim protectors in the league. He's shown it through 5 or 6 games, and I think his upside is tremendous. He's a really good athlete, and he fits really well in what the Mavs want to do in their scheme. So, yeah, I think it's sustainable. He may go through some rough patches like every rookie, and once teams start to figure him out, but I think that what he's doing right now, he has the potential to do it through the whole season. If not, obviously get better. So we'll see there on that front. But what do you think? Who you got winning, losing?
Yeah, I think this might be one of the first James Harden games that we see for the Clippers.
Yeah, it will be. They haven't played all weekend since he got traded. So
no, they played the Lakers. He didn't play. He sat on the sideline, and so I was hoping to see him. In the game. So hopefully we'll see a little dose of James Harden in this game, and so it will be interesting to watch. I would probably take the Mavs in this game. Just because I don't know if the Clippers have it fully figured out. I think their rotation might be a little bit off, and so I think I'd give the edge to the Mavericks in this game.
Yeah, I probably will agree with that. The Clippers are tough. Like those guys. We were talking about it in one of our previous episodes. Those guys are good, but it's always tough throwing a new rotation player in the mix where you're trying to figure out minutes and subs and how everything works together. So. Yeah, I would probably lead towards Luka and Kyrie and the Mavs because I think they just have, they're hot right now and they're moving in the right direction versus a team that is good and is playing well, but is trying to throw another player in the mix. It's hard. So and that kind of leads me. We're gonna move on to, and we'll get to our random news and our draft, but I kind of wanted to talk a little bit this week about just some of our big picture of the NBA, standings, teams that, have surprised us, haven't surprised us. And I wanted to start off by just saying how it's kind of ironic how the Memphis Grizzlies are playing this year.
Yeah, I mean, a team that had been so successful without Ja Morant, and to come in this season knowing, Ja Morant's going to miss 25 games and to just be unlucky with injuries. They've had injuries to they've had injuries to their starting center and Steven Adams, and they have Clark, they have Kennard, who have all been like key rotation players who have been missing minutes, and so they've looked ugly.
I were at the game the other night.
I was at the Jazz Grizzlies game, and it was a complete beatdown. Like by the end of the first half, they were losing by 25, 30. And I went home. I went home at half. I was done. I couldn't watch anymore. It was some of the worst basketball that I've seen.
You walked right on home.
I walked right on home, around the block, around the corner. I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna go watch a real game. So I went home, turned on the Clippers Lakers game. They went to OT, bro. That was a good game. That was a good game. I couldn't watch any of this Jazz Grizzlies stuff going on.
That's crazy. No, that's just. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a big Jazz guy. I'm a big Jazz fan. Everyone knows that. But, dude, the Jazz are not like a premier team in the league. You should not be getting beat by 30 at half.
No.
No. So that's just kind of – the Grizzlies got some stuff to figure out. Derrick Rose doesn't look great. They just got all these dudes who are just, playing out of or ahead of their, depth chart position, you know. Xavier Tillman is a second or third string. He's starting. They got all these dudes because of injuries, and just not to mention some of the moves the front office made. Marcus Smart's been playing okay.
Yeah.
But to get rid of like Tyus Jones,
they miss Tyus Jones.
He was the best. He might be the best backup point guard in the league.
Now starting because he plays for the Wizards.
Yeah.
Who are trash.
But he was the best backup point guard in the league, and it's just they don't really have that guy. And Steven Adams, obviously, with his injuries, out for the whole year.
They struggle rebounding the ball.
Yeah, it's because Jaren Jackson Jr. is not a 5.
No, and Steven Adams, like himself makes them a good rebounding team.
True.
And so they're missing him a lot, to be honest.
I think it all goes back to Ja's just an idiot. I mean, I like to watch Ja. He's one of the most awe-inspiring players that. Maybe of this generation.
Oh, for sure.
Was on the trajectory to be a Hall of Famer, and then to do just stupid things that jeopardize not only your career, but like the dudes around you. Mm-hmm. Like they're in a tough situation, and if the Grizzlies decide that it keeps going in the wrong direction, who's to say they don't blow it up?
Yeah.
And so, it's just all based on obviously what he's did. Because he's a big part of the organization. He is the face of the franchise, and so maybe I'm putting too much on him. Obviously it's a team game, but when you are the face of the franchise, you just can't do crap like that. You can't. And we've seen it bite people in the butt time and time again when you make stupid decisions. Yeah. And we'll see if they can bounce back. But man, I'm just disappointed in the Grizzlies this year. We're fine in the West.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to watch. It's tough to see, and I mean, we thought that the Grizzlies would be a playoff team. That that they'd be able to weather the storm for these 25 games. That he'd come back, lead the Grizzlies to maybe a top 5 seed in the West, the top 6. But right now, it doesn't look like they're even going to scratch the playoffs or even the play-in.
No.
They're sitting at 0-6 with 25 more games looming, and I just don't think that Ja Morant's going to be able to turn it around the moment he comes back.
No, they'll be lucky. They'll be lucky to be anywhere close to 500 when he comes back.
Oh yeah.
Which I doubt they are, but if they're 500 when he comes back, that's a win for the Grizzlies, I think. But I don't think they scratch that, and if they keep getting beat down the way they are, I don't know if you're, if you've won less than 10 games on, if you're 10-20 when Ja Morant comes back, what do you do then?
Yeah.
Do you blow it up or do you try to make play? What would you do if you were?
I think this just might be a year lost for the Memphis Grizzlies, where you say, okay, this is our unlucky year, so let's try and run it back next year.
Yeah. I could see that. I don't know what their pick situation looks like, but I guess you could tank for.
Sure. Get a good pick
and try to run it back next year. But man, if you if I'm the GM, you got some serious decisions to make. If you keep on this downward trend, by the time Ja Morant gets back, you got a serious decision to make on if you're going to try to push play-in or bottom of the barrel. So,
and I guess on the other side, who's like a team that looks amazing or even better than you thought that they would look at this point?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I like obviously everyone knows the Celtics look really, really good. The Nuggets look really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with one, and their record may not show it, but I'm just impressed with so far. And I may have been saying that they were kind of trash earlier, but like in a couple episodes ago. But I really like the way that the Magic look right now.
They do look good.
They actually got, like, we knew they had dudes. We knew Paolo and, Wagner, and they got some dudes. But, man, they are playing good basketball, too.
They are.
They have a good little squad there. I don't know. I don't think it'll be this year. I don't think it may not be next year. But if they keep building in the direction that they're building, they have some good young pieces.
They do.
So, that's kind of my, obviously not a big name organization, named Celtics, Nuggets, or, Lakers or whoever. But I don't know. I think the Magic, I like their pieces, and I'm excited to see the trend they go in the next few years, especially with, their draft picks. And, man, Jonathan Isaac, too, looked good in his couple games he's played. Man, they got some good young pieces. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how they do it.
What do you think? What you got a winner of
I mean, watching the Celtics obliterate the Pacers by 51 points. I know that the Celtics are good, but they look way ahead of schedule. They look like
51.
That was ugly as well. But like Kristaps has just fit in perfectly with the Celtics.
Yeah.
Like Jason Tatum doing his thing, Jaylen Brown doing his thing. Drew Holiday just playing some amazing defense,
If I lose by 51, I don't know if I'm out the next night. Like, I might not play for a week or so.
Yeah, well, Tyrese Halliburton was sitting, to be fair.
Okay.
And he runs the Pacers, like, he goes, like,
he
the
had
Pacers
42 and 41 and 11 or 12 or something the other night. But, yeah, he does. But still, you're an NBA team, bro. You shouldn't be
getting beat down by 50.
No.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's some crazy stuff. All right, moving on. We're getting towards the end. What do we have?
So we're gonna combine random news with our Dish and Swish draft.
Never been done
before. So we're in uncharted territory. So here, let me grab my list here. So Betway came out with a list of the top. So they rated all sports teams, but we obviously talk basketball, and so they rated how expensive it is to propose in each of the 30 NBA stadiums, and so they ranked it cheapest all the way to most expensive.
We're talking about like get on one knee,
like
proposals,
and so they're taking into account the payment for the message on the Jumbotron.
Message on the Jumbotron.
The seats, how expensive the seats were, right?
Fair.
And then they're also taking into account a one-night stay at a hotel in that city and a nice dinner in that place.
I don't know if I want to know what happens at that hotel.
Hey. But that's just how Betway did it. I'm not the one making the rules here.
Is that what you do after you propose?
Betway's kind of wilding out here.
This is NBA stadium.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
I'll face it this way. So we're talking top 5. So what you got for
cheapest?
Cheapest. We're talking cheapest. Yes.
Okay.
Top 5 cheapest.
I'm gonna go.
Stadiums.
I'm gonna do cheapest and then most expensive.
Okay, we'll go cheapest first. Okay.
Yeah.
Top
I want to do
5.
top 5 cheapest.
Top 5 cheapest. Let's see.
I feel like. Okay, hold on. Let me think. I feel like some of them have to be from areas that are like maybe not so good teams.
Okay.
So, is it this year? Like, is this based on like?
Yeah, based on this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Indiana Pacers.
They're in at 6.
No.
They're in at 6.
Okay. Dang, just outside the list. Are the Jazz on there?
Nope.
Okay.
At 8.
I got to think better. Let me think of cheap play. Milwaukee.
Mm-mm.
Gosh, I feel like
The Bucks are good.
Yeah, but like they're in like Portland.
Nope, Portland's not on the list.
Oh my gosh, man, I am trash at this. Let's go. Let me think. Washington Wizards.
The Washington Wizards at number 5.
Okay, I'm making my way up. Let's go with the Orlando Magic.
The Orlando Magic aren't on this list. Think way up north.
All right, let's go Minnesota. No?
Even more north. Maybe even to the country
Toronto.
to the north of us.
Okay.
Toronto Raptors in
Okay.
at number 3.
Okay. Let me think here. Are the Bulls on there?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, I am
Hey,
trash.
we talked about one of these teams today. They're really bad.
Freaking Memphis.
The
dude.
Memphis
What am I
Grizzlies
talking-
in at number 2.
Why did I not get the Grizzlies?
All right, you're missing 1 and 4.
Okay, 1 and 4. Let me think. Let's go. If I were a bad team, Houston.
Think a place that has maybe a lot of draft picks.
OKC.
Oklahoma City at number 1.
Yeah.
And
Oh my! Eastern Conference or Western Conference?
we're talking Eastern Conference here.
Mm.
They've been a bottom of the barrel team for a while. They've got some good young players.
Let me think here. Let's go. It's not New Orleans.
No, they play up north.
Oh, they're northern.
They're
not Brooklyn.
Gets quite chilly up there.
North.
It's the state known for lots of lakes.
Oh, the Pistons.
And the Detroit Pistons coming in at number 4.
Oh, man. I should have got that. Those are trash teams, man. I should have got that. All right, let's go to the top 5.
We'll go to the top 5 most expensive.
I'm going to say Golden State is up there.
Number 1 most expensive place to propose
Is Golden State.
is Golden State.
Let's go Los Angeles.
Los Angeles at number 5 most
Okay.
expensive.
So does that count as both LA Clippers and is that like Staples Center?
No, so that's the Lakers
Okay.
because Lakers tickets
Clippers
are
aren't on
more
that.
expensive than
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know. What about Knicks?
the Knicks at number 2.
Okay. Yeah. Boston.
Boston at number 3.
Okay, I'm missing number 4.
You're missing number 4.
It's going to be Miami.
Mm-mm.
Ooh.
I think you might have listed one of these this team in your one that you
My-
thought was one of your lowest.
Oh, let me think.
They have a good history. This team has a very good history. Maybe short-lived, but
It wasn't Orlando, was it?
mm-mm.
Okay, let me think. Good history. Chicago.
Chicago Bulls coming in at number 4.
Wow.
The
So
most
give me
expensive.
5 most expensive to
Yeah.
the top 5.
All right, most expensive we have Warriors, Knicks, Celtics, Bulls, Lakers.
Does it give you a price too? Like how much they estimate?
Yeah. So the Warriors, you're looking at almost $1,000, $963
For tickets,
for tickets,
a hotel room,
a dinner, and then
to
the
buy
the thing on the jumbotron, the message on the
Who's charging
jumbotron.
for that, man.
I don't know. They're going crazy, I guess. And then you got the New York Knicks at 816, the Celtics at 806, the Bulls at 740, and the Los Angeles Lakers at $724.
Good to know. Wow.
Hey.
If you're gonna
So if you're gonna propose, you should probably be going to the Thunder games, the Grizzlies games, the Raptors games, the Pistons games, and surprisingly the Wizards game in Washington D.C., which is one of the most expensive places in the
Wow.
United States. So that is just
They're
how
trash.
bad the Washington Wizards are.
they're a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, good list. I like it. That's a good little draft and
Hey.
random news.
Kind of, we're mixing it up over here. We're trying to keep
I
it
like
fresh.
it.
We're trying to keep it fresh here on the Dish and Swish podcast.
No, I like it. But that kind of, obviously wraps it up. But we got some stuff coming out this week. We got some more, reels, TikToks,
We do.
some more content. We've been making more content.
We have, and hope you might see us hoop here in this upcoming week.
Oh yeah, we have a little bit of some on-court activities. We'll see. Stay tuned for the through the Instagram, the Gram, the TikTok, the Twitter. Man, we're all over the place.
Hey,
but
you'll see if we still got it.
yeah, we'll see. But yeah, thanks for tuning in this week. We're the Dish and Swish podcast. Trevor Trails, Amadeus Peterson. See you next week.
Have a good week.